and welcome to TMZ Live. We have some new information connected to this case of the girl who was found dead in the back of singer David's Tesla.
Celeste Rivas, the 15-year-old.
And everything we're seeing, and we know law enforcement is currently working on this, is that her pattern of running away was a real signal to law enforcement that something they're looking at, that she came from what they're calling a troubled home.
Right, and we have information about how many times she went missing in early 2024, and it definitely paints a picture of someone who was clearly, for whatever reasons, trying to get away from her home. We know that in early 2024, in January, she went missing.
The cops found her in Hollywood, which is interesting because David now is living in Hollywood, but they took her back home where she lives in Lake Elsinore with her family. That's 70 miles from downtown Los Angeles, quite a ways.
Yes, and so she was home for a time, but then went missing again, and at least 2 more times went missing that spring into summer. And as we now know, when her family lost contact with her in May of 2024, that's the last time her mother had contact with her. We know that because we spoke to her mother last week, information we shared with the police, and then before
Which ultimately led them to identify her because she had told us that she had a boyfriend named David, and also this tattoo, and it helped, I think, authorities identify Celeste. Now, we are told at least twice law enforcement in Riverside County got involved in trying to track Celeste down. And as a matter of fact, Evan, her sister also actually started canvassing the neighborhood at one point looking
No,
for
totally. I think there's been a lot of criticism, at least online, at the family of like why they didn't do anything, why they didn't look for her. But in this instance, I spoke to a owner of a liquor store that's down the street from where Celeste was living in Lake Elsinore. He knew a lot of the kids in the neighborhood, including Celeste and her family, because the bus stop for school was right in front of his liquor store. He said last March 19th, Celeste's sister actually came into his liquor store.
A year ago, Mark.
This is March 2024.
Right. So came into his liquor store looking for her because she had gone missing, and asked if he could look at his surveillance cameras to see if he saw her leaving. He looked back and saw her at 7 a.m. walking and then running across the street and getting into a car. It was too far, so he couldn't tell what model of the car it was or who was in the car, but he knew Celeste and he knew that that was her that was leaving. So this was one of the times that she had ran away.
And so one of the things we know, and this we know that law enforcement is looking at, is that how did Celeste kind of traverse Hollywood this way multiple times? And they say she had numerous fake IDs that made her appear older than she actually was.
Which would seem to track with the fact that if she's going to events with David and going into nightclubs, things like that, you would have to be at the very least 18. So that would make sense where they're having fake IDs.
And she looks, I mean, they found her body a day before her 15th birthday. So she was 14.
Right.
And, but she looks older than 14. So it may be just that the appearance may have allowed her with these fake IDs.
Right.
By the way, this is in no way any justification for anything. I mean, it is horrific that, what happened to her. And the timeline of this becomes really, really important because she disappeared. And then the question is, when did she die? If she was killed, when was she killed?
Right.
And, we know the body was badly decomposed.
Right. And remember, the body was discovered in the Tesla in that impound yard on September 8th.
No, I believe it was the 5th because it was over the weekend.
They discovered the body on Monday the 8th in the impound yard, but the car had been towed there on the 5th.
It had been abandoned for more than 3 days on a residential street in the Hollywood Hills near where David was staying.
So at some point that week before the 5th is when
but the question is
the body would have been placed in the car.
The question is when.
Abandoned.
Now, there is a video going around And the video is a concert that David had
on August either 23rd or 24th in Silver Springs, Maryland. The video is going around online. People are looking at this because there's a woman in the balcony who David actually acknowledges at one point that some people think is Celeste. And the reason they're zeroing in on that is because it closes that it would, if it were her, close the window of time dramatically for when she was killed. It would be sometime between the 24th and September, 3rd, 4th, or 5th.
So when you look at the picture, there is a similarity.
There's a similarity.
And the other thing that is interesting is she's wearing a black tube top. That is what
the police said, or the medical examiner actually
she
said.
was wearing when they discovered her body in the Tesla. So, there are similarities in this picture for sure, and there are people who believe that it's Celeste. Now, we have a source connected to the case who is saying that is not Celeste.
Right. And so if that is not Celeste, it really doesn't it doesn't add any information as far as when she was killed. And at this point, we're, still waiting for the police to give us some more information. We know that yesterday they did return Celeste's body to her family, which if they're doing that, that certainly means
they've
that
completed their investigation.
They've done all the tests that they're going to do.
And I will say this: a lot of people are wondering how could the body be this badly decomposed, especially if it was a short period of time?
Right.
Because the thing everybody's wondering is, how does a body end up in his Tesla where it's just parked on a residential street that's fairly busy and trafficked?
As far as the decomposition, it doesn't have to be necessarily a very long time that the body was in there, because
it was very hot in L.A.
And it's sitting in the trunk of a black car here in Los Angeles.
For more than 3 days.
Right.
At least more than, it could have been longer than that.
Right.
But we know it was more than 3 days. And so, the court, look, real talk here. The medical examiner and the police are unusually quiet in this case.
Yeah.
And we have covered many, many cases with LAPD over 20 years. And, they do hold their cards close to the vest, but there's wiggle room there. People talk. Nobody's
talking this time.
Nobody is talking. And it's just really unusual how they're playing this case.
Yeah, definitely.
They have not said yet if they have a suspect. They certainly haven't announced it publicly. That doesn't mean they don't have one, but they haven't announced.
But they're not sharing, and it's almost like they want to make sure they have all the I's dotted and the T's crossed, and they're not sharing any.
Or they don't know.
Or they don't know anything at all yet, which, wow, with all the investigation they've done, that would be really shocking.
There are some just odd things in this case.
Yeah.
Okay, we are going to move on.
Yes, shifting gears now to
radically.
yes, big time, to something Cardi B is addressing that conspiracy theorists have been talking about for a long time. That she is a quote industry plant, meaning that someone
not like a Diefenbachia.
No. What did I tell you about that plant? We've talked about it. Anyway, that there is someone in the showbiz industry who wanted her to become a huge thing strictly to go after Nicki Minaj. Now, I know it may sound ridiculous to some people, but a lot of people believe this, and Cardi finally addressed it.
Now, she doesn't say Nicki's name in this interview.
But she's referring to fighting with someone.
Clearly.
This is her on the Call Her Daddy podcast.
People have made this whole story that I came in the industry to take over somebody's career or make them think, but it's like, I never thought that. I just wanted to become famous at what I like to do. That's all things. Sometimes people just don't get along with each other, and if they don't get along with each other, it's no more like, oh, but I think that they don't get along with each other because somebody from the higher ups wanted to make and destroy and this and that. No, that's what I was destined for. It's nothing more than just people didn't get along with each other, and that's just that. But I'm done with that.
Honestly, I don't even know why she gave this the time of day. We all know Cardi's not an industry plant. This started with a rumor that Kanye made up a long time ago. A leaked call came out and it said that the Illuminati put Cardi B in the industry.
Yeah, it's definitely true.
Well, then
Kanye said it.
Yeah,
Right?
she shouldn't even be giving this time. I like her jersey, though.
Yes, that is interesting that she was wearing Stephon Diggs' jersey.
I just want to get into one thing. I never understood this notion of an industry. Who is an industry plant that creates something like this to go after another artist? I mean, is there a person?
If you want to
who's the Wizard of Oz?
If you actually want to give it some credence, the idea would be that there was some other company opposing Nicki Minaj's who decided they wanted some of her market share. So they get someone who's a good personality and suddenly give them lots of success, make sure they get lots of radio play.
That's called American Idol.
Yeah.
I mean, that's called American Idol. You find somebody who's going to be really popular.
Listen, I don't
and then
believe it,
but then you make money off of them because you made them into a star. How is that an industry plant? Yeah, you want somebody even bigger than Nicki Minaj, so you bring them out, you nurture them, and they become big stars.
Don't ask me, ask Cat Williams, because he's the one who loves to talk about industry plants.
No, I don't understand, because we hear this all the time, and Cat Williams did, we hear it all the time, and there's some person they got to be thinking.
I don't think it's one person, I think it's persons
for sure.
who are the wizards, as you put it.
This is
But
ridiculous.
I'm not talking about them, and I'm not naming any wizards.
The music industry is designed to make money and make stars, period. We're going to take a break.
All right, when we come back, Jimmy Kimmel's big return. He has a lot of people talking, people supporting him, and people who say it was all BS and they're not buying it. Well, Jimmy Kimmel's return to TV was every bit the event that people expected it to be. You had very strong reactions to the things he started out his show with last night. People who support him felt one way about it, and certainly President Trump had a very strong reaction to it.
So even is threatening to sue ABC.
Threatening a lawsuit already based on some of what you're about to see. So obviously Jimmy did his monologue addressing the fact that he had been suspended for almost a week. And he also did a second segment still addressing the controversy, especially the FCC and President Trump. But this is how he started the show.
Just joining us, we are preempting your regularly scheduled encore episode of Celebrity Family Feud to bring you this special report. I'm happy to be here tonight with you. I'm not sure who had a weirder 48 hours, me or the CEO of Tylenol. But I do want to make something clear because it's important to me as a human, and that is, you understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man. I don't think there's anything funny about it. I posted a message on Instagram on the day he was killed, sending love to his family and asking for compassion, and I meant it, and I still do.
So he went on to say that the comment he made, about MAGA pushing the assassin away from their camp, he said that, first he said if it was interpreted that way, that he regretted it. But then he said, I understand why it would be, because if the shoe were in the other foot, I would have felt the same.
Right. So there were certainly things he said, I think you could only describe it as reaching out to people on the right who were very incensed by his words. So did it actually land with anyone? Someone who has been very critical of what Jimmy had to say is U.S. Congressman Dan Crenshaw, representative from Texas, and he is joining us right now. Congressman, welcome back to TMZ Live.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate it. So I'm sure you watched the monologue. What do you think?
I think Jimmy Kimmel is creating a new brand of gaslighting. Never my intention to blame, I'm going to quote him, never my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what was obviously a deeply disturbed individual. Here's the thing. That's word for word what he said. And when Disney executives went to him and asked him to take it back, he doubled down again. That's why they fired him. That was their reason for firing him. By the way, it had nothing to do with FCC chairman. I'm just saying what came from Disney executives. They said it was his words and his doubling down on those words. And so now he comes back and tries to gaslight us. Well, look, that was never my intention to make light of this, to make light of the murder of a guy with 2 toddlers who won't remember their dad, and then blame his own followers for doing it. He wasn't vague about blaming his own followers for doing it. They're like, oh, I'm sorry, people interpreted it that way. Of course they interpreted it that way because word for word, that's what he said. This is an unfunny guy who doesn't deserve a show in the first place. Forget about all the Charlie Kirk stuff. He doesn't deserve a show because he's not funny. Right? He only takes jabs at one side of the aisle. He sucks at his job.
Congressman, he's had a show that's been on for a very long time.
I don't give a crap. His show sucks.
I know, but I'm
His
just
show
saying
sucks.
that to say that he's not successful just doesn't bear out when he's been
on the air for that long. He's successful in your circles, of the specific group of people, because none of you guys give a crap about the rest of the country. And by the way, I saw what happened in your newsroom as well. And you guys can claim that you were watching some car chase. I've never seen anyone react with cheering and laughter over a car chase. So I don't believe your guys' story either. By the way,
well,
I'm sure that your executive team got together and said, guys, we got to say something here, so let's make up something about a car chase.
Actually, Congressman, we've said what we had to say about that. We had you on to talk about Jimmy Kimmel.
Well,
okay, let's talk about Jimmy Kimmel.
You said that you don't believe that that ABC took him off the air because of what he said and because he wasn't going to take it back. On the record, Disney never actually said that, but I get your point that you don't
That's what was
believe
reported.
that. Do you have an issue with the FCC chairman? And I know you say you don't think that it had anything to do with it, but he did say on the record, on camera, we can do this the easy way or the hard way, referring to the licenses that ABC stations get from the FCC. Do you have an issue with that?
I have no idea what he's referring to. I'm not President Carr.
He
I
did
have
say
no
what
idea.
he's
He's very vague in what he's saying there. Obviously, he's made no specific threats. And again, Disney did not reference that as a reason for their suspension of Jimmy Kimmel.
Well, do you believe Disney? Do you believe Disney?
Yeah, I believe Disney because Jimmy Kimmel sucks. And he refused to take it back.
But you're saying he's
still refusing to take it back. He's still saying he's gaslighting us all. How come we're not calling him out for the gaslighting?
So,
he's literally telling us that we're the crazy ones for interpreting his words word for word.
I didn't hear him say that anybody was crazy.
Wait. He said that if the shoe were on the other foot, he would understand why people were angry. So
he's saying what he needs to say. He's saying what he needs to say at this point to save his what's left of his reputation. But you asked me the question, does it land with anyone? No, it absolutely doesn't. I'll tell you one thing he did say that did land with me, and it was totally correct. He said this show is not important. Now there was more context to it, right? And then he went on to say the real villain here. Then he went on to say this show is not important. What's important is we live in a country that allows us to have a show like this. And then he said that Trump's attacks on the news media and late night hosts like himself, this poor Jimmy Kimmel, that's anti-American. You know what's anti-American? Celebrating the death of an American who is exercising his free speech.
Did he do that in your view?
Speech.
Did he do that in your view? Did he celebrate the death of an American in your view?
He made light of it. He basically, he blamed the wrong people for it. I don't know. Celebrating it again. I think the celebration occurred in the back of your newsroom.
I don't know how he made light of it. Congressman, I want to play this.
That sounded to me like celebration. And unfortunately, there was a lot of other people who did actually celebrate it, and it was disgusting to see. Never seen anything like it. Never seen anything like that.
Be right back.
TMZ's got every freaking thing. Big celebs, big stories, big events.
BB Rexa was looking hot on vacation.
Look at the water, too. Did you just say look at the water?
I mean, I'll be honest, that is what I was looking at. Congressman, I want to play one other thing that Jimmy Kimmel said last night. I want to get your reaction to this.
I don't know if you saw this. On Sunday, Erica Kirk forgave the man who shot her husband. She forgave him. That is an example we should follow. If you believe in the teachings of Jesus, as I do, there it was. That's it. A selfless act of grace, forgiveness from a grieving widow. It touched me deeply. And I hope It touches many. And if there's anything we should take from this tragedy to carry forward, I hope it can be that.
So do you believe that was authentic?
No. I mean, it sounds like crocodile tears to me. Look, he's an actor by training, not a very good one, clearly. That just doesn't sound real to me. I would be honest with you if it sounded real to me.
Okay.
It honestly sounds to me like he's reaching, like he's like he knows he's screwed up really bad here, and he doubled down. Thing is, like, the time to have that reaction, honestly, it's immediately after you say it, because you know deep down, like, that joke went too far, or that comment went too far. You know, like, we've all been in public media for a long time. We know immediately when it's like, that probably didn't land too, that probably wasn't the right thing to say. You don't come to that realization only after you've been suspended. So those sound like crocodile tears to me. Doesn't sound real at all. I mean, he's not wrong about Erica. I mean, she's an amazing woman, but I think he's saying what he believes he needs to say. No, I don't believe him. I don't believe he believes it. I'm just saying the words are correct. I think he's saying what he thinks he needs to say to save his reputation, or what's left of it. But you're asking me if supporters of Charlie, if conservatives are convinced by it, the answer is a resounding no.
If Disney did this and suspended him the way you say, which is they felt it was inappropriate on their own, I get it. But if the FCC exerts pressure, do you think there is ever a place for the government to assert pressure on a network to stop somebody from what you believe is crossing that line? Do you think it's appropriate for the government to put pressure on a network?
Mostly not. I would say mostly not, right? Like, I don't really know what Brendan Carr is actually referring to. I would say in this case, the right thing to do would be for the host company, Disney, to say, look, I don't want to associate with you. If these are the beliefs you hold, then I don't want to associate with you. And that gets into this whole other conversation about cancel culture. I've been asked that question a lot. Well, come on, Dan, I thought conservatives were against cancel culture. And I'm like, well, here's the thing. I kind of wrote a whole book about this, so I do have a pretty nuanced view of cancel culture. And look, cancel culture, by definition, my definition at least, and I think this is the right one, is the unreasonable cancellation of someone who is expressing beliefs that are within social norms. So firing somebody or canceling somebody because they refuse to bake a cake, or they want to wear a MAGA hat, or they want to have a bumper sticker that's like a normal bumper sticker, like, and you cancel them for that, that's unreasonable. That's cancel culture. Disassociating yourself with someone because they are somebody who is expressing, again, some kind of celebratory or diminishing the actions of an assassination of a guy with 2 kids, that's not cancel culture. That's disassociating yourself. That's exercising your own freedom of speech to disassociate yourself from someone who you find despicable. Like you guys, look, like, I mean, I'll put it back on you. Like, if somebody showed up to your newsroom every day and they wanted to wear a swastika shirt, that's free speech, right? But you'd probably fire them, right? And I wouldn't blame you for it. Like, you should, because why would you want to associate with that person?
But what
that's
if
you're not canceling them, right? But you're disassociating yourself.
But what if the government gives you the dress code?
The government isn't giving you the dress code.
I know, but there's a difference between.
Well, on TV there is a dress code. You can't be naked on your show, for instance. So the government does have some kind of dress code. But you know my
point, which is that companies can do all sorts of things that the government can't, because running a company privately is different from the government either regulating or pressuring.
We agree on that. Yes. Now there still are some regulations, like free speech is not unlimited. You can, but we have the most free speech in the world. Like, here you can't defame somebody, right? There's libelous claims. I can sue you if you make libelous claims against me, and I can win. So if you're inciting someone's violence, if you're calling for the death of somebody, that's obviously not free speech, the protected speech. So. But look, so it's not like it's a free for all, but you are correct. I think we agree in principle that yes, private companies have the right to disassociate themselves from people they don't want to associate with. What I call cancel culture, again, I don't think cancel culture should be illegal. No conservative has ever really said that. We just fight, it's a culture war issue. And for us to properly discuss culture war issues, we do have to define them, and that's why I define it the way I did, right? Cancel culture is, again, it is disassociation, but for very highly unreasonable terms. You know, things that should be considered within the social norms. It's not cancel culture when you're disassociating because somebody is clearly a vile person.
Okay.
All right.
Well, look, we really appreciate having you on.
Thank you,
Thank you so much.
Thanks for the conversation. Thanks, guys.
Thanks again.
Coming up.
One of President Trump's biggest proponents, Theo Vaughn, is actually really ticked off at the administration for a video they posted touting their progress in the immigration battle. But they used Theo Vaughn in a way that he's really ticked off about.
Be right back.
Well, one of President Trump's biggest proponents, Theo Vaughn, is actually really ticked off at the administration, certainly the Department of Homeland Security, for a video they posted, a video that's touting their progress in the immigration battle. But they used Theo Vaughn in a way that he's really ticked off about.
Heard you got deported, dude. Bye.
They simply stopped coming. They're not coming anymore. We're getting a lot of credit, but they're not coming anymore.
So the video, as you see, is touting the administration say their success in deporting undocumented immigrants. And Theo, his face and his own words there, used to sort of kick off the whole thing. Well, he did not have any involvement in this and was clearly pretty shocked to see it. He said, "Yo, DHS, I didn't approve to be used in this. I know you know my address, so send a check. And please take this down, and please keep me out of your banger deportation videos. When it comes to immigration, my thoughts and heart are a lot more nuanced than this video allows."
So, you know, what I find so interesting about this is you look at Joe Rogan, who, you know, is really
also
he's really supported a lot of what MAGA did, but he's willing to break. He broke on Kimmel. You see Theo Vaughn, same thing, and he broke on this.
Right.
And so, what I kind of love about all of this,
I have so much more respect for someone who actually
that they're not doctrinaire and they always agree or
that
always
they are
disagree.
looking at each issue
That's
and
right.
they speak their minds about it, which is what all Americans should do.
Absolutely.
And not just say blanketly,
I support him no matter what, or I oppose him no matter
what. And if you look at the, Theo tweeted the link that DHS had posted, that has been removed. So
they
if
did take it down.
If it exists somewhere else, I'm not sure. I've been trying to find it, but it does seem like they listened to him and actually took it down.
Because they have to, because he's trashing them.
Right.
And I mean, look, I'm assuming what he's saying by saying my views are more nuanced is I'm going to guess. And I don't know, but I'm going to guess he's going to say definitely get rid of people who are criminals.
Yes. Right.
But
Certainly
picking up
violent
people
criminals.
at Home Depot, you know,
people
and
from
going
children,
to schools
children
and
at schools,
children.
yeah.
Right. And then he instantly becomes the face of all those policies when they use his video,
That's right.
which I understand why you wouldn't want to be used in that way.
He should be outraged at that.
I think he is.
Like outraged
Hey,
at
give
that.
him credit for speaking up.
The administration, this is really interesting because I think they feel like people in MAGA are all in. They are not all in with Epstein. They are not all in with Kimmel. They are not all in with immigration. And I think they're starting to see.
I think more than I think more than the first time around, they're starting to see that look, people are they're not all one thing, and they are going to actually speak their mind. Some are,
but the big voices like Theo Vaughn, like Joe Rogan, you know, the big voices are not. I'm all
and
in.
I think they would say that they're not MAGA, right? Just because you voted for Donald Trump doesn't mean you are MAGA.
Absolutely.
Hi, my name is Jessica. I'm from Palm Harbor, Florida, and I just wanted to say that I completely can relate with how Theo feels. You know, putting politics aside, whether you're on the right or you're on the left, As a content creator myself, it's frustrating when somebody just uses your likeness, your image, your hard work, and just takes that without your permission. It's just a reminder that we all need to be able to give our own take, our own permission, and say how we can be used, how our likeness can be used. I feel like it's not fair.
Yeah, well, Theo Von fought back and he won.
Well, at this point, you would think that Travis and Jason Kelce have kind of seen it all in showbiz. I mean, they've been around the world with Taylor at the Eras Tour, so you would think maybe they're not all that impressed by showbiz stuff anymore. Apparently not, because they had a couple of big guests.
Yeah.
Oscar winners on their New Heights podcast, and the Kelce brothers were...
They fanboyed.
Super fanboy.
Play it cool, guys.
Leo and Benicio, let's go. It's an honor being interviewed by you guys. Thank you. Our first podcast, fellas.
All right, here we go. Jason, you want to do the honors, my brother.
Oh, baby, our guests today, between them, have 4 Golden Globe Awards, 2 Academy Awards. They have starred in 13 films that have been nominated for Best Picture, and now as the stars of the new movie, One Battle After Another. Attitude Percenters, please welcome Leonardo DiCaprio and Benicio del Toro.
What's up, fellas? What's up?
Oh, my goodness.
That was like the WWF. No,
That's what we go for here. All energy, baby.
Yeah, plenty of energy.
Plenty of energy, but that's Jason's thing. If he doesn't have the energy, then it's not Jason. This is who he is.
Some people thought this was like an odd thing for them to do, but Leo, and it makes all the sense in the world.
It's one of the biggest podcasts ever. Of course, you're going to go on and promote your show.
They're selling a movie. I mean, the weird thing to me isn't Travis and Jason
and their
fanboying out. It's that Leo and Benicio seemed
they
kind
were
of the same way
too.
They were
excited. Why wouldn't they be excited to be on this? They're massive.
A huge part of the zeitgeist now.
And
right?
I haven't seen Leo get excited about anything.
Well, because when he's
Leo
always
didn't even wear a hat. I know that.
He looks excited on those yachts with his girlfriend.
It's weirdly different.
I have a question. Do they ever talk about football on this podcast?
Yes!
Ever anymore? It's Taylor Swift. It's movies now. What are we doing?
Why are you a hater? They do talk about football. Travis talked about it last week.
I don't know. It's just
Did they talk about football this one? Did they ask Leo what his favorite football team is?
They asked him what his favorite team was. And do you want to know Leo's favorite team?
Lakers?
The Browns?
It is the Lakers.
Oh. Yeah.
I wanted it to be the Browns, but I know better.
But why would it be the Browns? What is
fun.
it
They talk a lot of football.
They did?
There was an hour of football, yeah.
Yes, they talked about
They talked a whole lot of football. But
They
not
always-
with Benicio del Toro
but not
and
with Leo and Benicio.
Oh, they talked about football, but
the first hour was just the two of them talking.
The two of them
Eagles,
talking.
yeah, and
But
then we
did
got
they-
on the guys.
But what did they talk about with Leo and Benicio?
The movie.
It was just about the movie.
See, but I get it. They
came
should
on to
talk about the
promote the
movie, but they
movie.
should also talk football.
Did they go
What
to
if they don't
Sports
know
Center
football?
My name's Lainey Erickson. I'm from the Center, Washington, and I'm a 92%er, so I loved this interview. The Kelce brothers did great as interviewers, asking great questions, but also you got to see a little bit of a different side from Leo. He was different than you see him on late night TV or late night talk shows. On this press tour, he got to open up, and it was just dudes being dudes. And after all that movie promo, I definitely wasn't interested in it. And then after watching this podcast, I might actually see this movie they're talking about.
Oh, well then the
Oh,
Kelce
really?
brothers
So
did
it
their
worked.
job.
So it worked.
That's what's supposed to happen. If you go see it, then they win.
Coming up.
Diddy is getting very close to the day he will find out what his sentence is. As he's getting ready to move past the criminal case, he has to deal with yet another civil suit from someone who was very close to him for 10 years or so, Deontay Nash, Diddy's stylist.
Be right back.
Diddy is getting very close to the day he will find out what his sentence is next Friday.
A week from Friday.
Yes. Otherwise known as next Friday.
No, I think next Friday is...
this Friday. This Friday is the next one. Is the first one coming up. Then it's next Friday.
Go on.
You know what I mean about him correcting me? Anyway, Diddy's going to find out his sentence. As he's getting ready to move past the criminal case, he has to deal with yet another civil suit. This one from someone who was very close to him for 10 years or so. Deontay Nash was Diddy's stylist, and he is now suing Diddy for sexual battery and human trafficking. Now, You may recognize the name Deontay Nash.
Because he testified against Diddy in the criminal case on behalf of the prosecution. And that is really interesting.
He sure did. And you remember him from the stand because he worked with him for a long time. He calls it a nightmare of a decade with Diddy. And what he describes is similar to the things he was describing, where he was
talking about
and
what
manipulated.
He saw, when he testified, he was testifying about what he saw with Cassie.
Correct. Right? But this was both, he was under his employment, he says he was threatened, he says he was transported around, forced labor. Human trafficking is about being transported across state lines and forced to do things against your will, or being sexually assaulted, or forced to give your labor and things of that nature. And if you sue for that, you can get damages. If Diddy violated the penal code, there are damages available civilly to him, and that's what he's suing for.
What's really interesting is Diddy's lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, asked him on the stand if he was going to consider suing Diddy when the case is over.
This is the fascinating part. And on the stand, he said, I'm trying to get out of here, was the words he said. I'm trying to get out of here, I believe was the quote, which left him some wiggle room to later change his mind. He didn't say, absolutely, I will never.
But they're going to use that in the civil case.
Of course they'll use it, because it damages his credibility, makes him look like a money grubber. That's what they were trying to establish in the criminal case, and now he's gone ahead with it. The timing couldn't be bigger either. On the eve of his sentencing, he's dropped this bombshell to remind everyone how bad a person Diddy is.
You wonder which of these, when the lawsuits come in, that Diddy goes, I'm definitely fighting this one. I want to go take this one to trial. Or the lawyers are saying to him.
It depends on his sentence. If it's very light, you want it to all go away.
Some of them, because this one is someone he definitely knew, had a relationship, a working relationship with at the very least.
Oh, you think it's like that too, Brute? Like he feels
that it feels
betrayed.
more, he feels more betrayed, that he's like, I got to fight this one.
Every trial just takes over your life. Yes. And it just takes over your life. He's got scores of civil cases right now.
Think about it. When he finally gets out of prison, let's say it's a year from now.
Right.
How many times is he going to have to be back in court fighting these things?
Well, I think they're going to try to settle these.
He has to settle. He has to turn the page. I mean, if you fight all of these, it'll bleed him dry.
How much does it start costing him to?
We don't know. Like Tony Busby has a lot of these cases, and there's a lot of animus between him and Tony Busby. Right. So the question is Tony Busby going to say, open your checkbook, open your checkbook, open your checkbook?
Well, he's been
and at what point does he draw the line?
Some of Busby's have been
the Busby lawsuits, I mean, a lot of them, Diddy's won more recently, and in this latest one, Diddy's lawyer said this is a money grab. She's been saying that from the beginning, all these lawsuits.
Yeah. He's won some battles along the way, but he has a lot of lawsuits to deal with. This is far from over. Now, Busby hasn't filed the cleanest ones, and he's had his own issues as a lawyer, but we'll see.
And by the way, tomorrow, the lawyers for Diddy are going to go into court, and they're going to ask the judge to not bother sentencing him. They're going to ask that the whole thing be dismissed because the Mann Act shouldn't apply to somebody who just watched.
Hi, my name's Kyle. I'm from New Jersey, and regarding the lawsuit from Diddy's stylist, in the wise words of DJ Khaled, another one. The stories and allegations just keep coming. I know that the stylist said he wasn't considering a lawsuit, but he obviously changed his mind. Maybe he was too scared to share his story. I know that some people are putting out allegations for a quick cash grab in court, let's be honest. But with all these allegations, do we really think they're all a lie?
Well, we'll see. I mean, he's settled lawsuits, so we will see.
But he's settled some. He still has a mountain.
He has a lot.
This is the latest, but there's a ton of them that he still has.
Scores of them.
Yes.
Coming up.
Dramatic body cam footage now from the scene of a horrific car accident that Dylan Walsh, the Nip Tuck star, had earlier this summer. We had known that he was driving this SUV when he slammed into 2 utility poles. Pay close attention to what Dylan says about what happened before this accident.
Be right back.
Dramatic body cam footage now from the scene of a horrific car accident that Dylan Walsh, the Nip Tuck star, had just earlier last summer, or this summer. And we had known that he was driving this car, this SUV, when he slammed into 2 utility poles. You see it there where it finally came to a stop. But now we have the body cam footage. And what you're about to see, you're going to see Dylan's wife, who was injured in this, getting treatment. He is talking to the police, and the officer is walking around trying to make sure everybody is safe because they were concerned that the power lines were about to fall down on them. And pay close attention to what Dylan says about what happened before this accident.
What's your name? Can you hear me? Was there anybody else in the car besides that young lady? Is there anybody else in that car?
3, me.
Oh, you were in the car?
I was in the car.
Okay.
You
we driving?
Yeah.
All right, guys, this is what we want to do. Are you able to walk? Okay, we're all going to walk over there because if that touches down here, we're not here anymore. So let's get over here. Is she still conscious? Leslie, look at me. Leslie, you were driving the car, sir?
Driving the car.
What exactly happened?
I don't know.
You were coming?
I was coming from the beach.
And you were coming this way?
A lot of us in the car.
Okay.
I had to look down.
Okay.
I can't explain it.
Did you lose consciousness or anything driving? Did you fall asleep? Did you earn any medication or anything? Or you just...
I'm really tired. I was driving and it happened. I don't know how that happened.
And you just, maybe too much sun or something? Did you drink today anything? You have any alcohol?
We came from the Mule. We were in the sun all day.
One of his reps said after the fact that that he had suffered a stroke while driving.
Right.
Now, what he told police is like, I just don't remember.
Well, he also said I was at the bar.
He said he was at the bar. He said he was very tired. They also cited him on 6 vehicle violations, one of which was an open container in the car. Obviously, no proof that he was one consuming it, but if you add things up, right?
Yeah,
he's in the bar, there's an open container. He said he was tired.
Did they do
in the
blood
body
alcohol
cam
at some point?
Yes, and in fact, there's part of this body cam footage where he's in an ambulance and the officer explains, we're gonna get a blood test to find out what your alcohol level is.
And?
He said, you can fight that, and then we'll have to get a search warrant, or you can just agree to it.
Well, also,
and he
by the way,
agreed to it. And he agreed
because
to it.
in California, you automatically lose your license for a year if you do that.
This was in Jersey, but he was booked for, he was, I think, charged with DUI.
Exactly. He was charged with DUI. So you got to believe the assumption would be that it could have
There was
been
some alcohol.
The fact that there was an open container in the car, right, Harvey? That typically gives
not
rise
only an
to
open container, but then he says I was at a bar.
That was the bar too. The police
they
don't
found champagne and White Claws that were open.
And so to charge him with DUI, you don't need to prove at that point that he's got what is blood alcohol. That can come later.
Hi, Mary here from East Texas. I'm not sure if it was sunstroke, or what it was, but alcohol and the beach, there's no mix for that. And then driving, there's all kinds of rideshare out there, so I don't think there's any excuse for it.
Coming up.
I'm not really sure what the connection is between SKIMS and a library, but that's where Kim Kardashian, with some help from her sister Khloe and her mom Kris, were part of a big Nike SKIMS sort of fashion show, I guess you'd call it.
Be right back.
I'm not really sure what the connection is between SKIMS and a library, but it is the New York City Public Library. It is a big landmark in New York City, and that's where Kim Kardashian, with some help from her sister Khloe and her mom Kris, were part of a big Nike SKIMS sort of fashion show, I guess you'd call it. Imagine if you're just showing up at the library that day just to get a book, and all of a sudden, I just wanted a book, and now there's a bunch of models standing on the steps here. By the way, you expect Kim and Khloe to come, all done up, looking like models, like they're, but don't sleep on Kris Jenner.
Well, remember, Kris just revealed she's got a new face.
And she was working it.
Flaunting it.
Definitely working it.
I mean, she is flaunting it.
It's the family biz.
I'll tell you, they are the best at it. We'll see you tomorrow.